Hello, welcome to another episode of Get Rich and Fit Tryin. So after a couple trials and errors, we finally got everything right. So now we're gonna go ahead and get right to it. I'll see you on the other side. Let's go. Hey, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode. What's up, Javi? You just jumped in. What's going on? How you doing? Uh-oh. What does that sound doesn't sound good. It's the first of the month. Yo. And you said it's what? Uh-oh. Did I lose you, Javi? Alright, let's switch over to the screen. I guess I lost Javi. Now I can hear you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh joy. Yeah. If life was easy, everybody would be rich. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry you're going through that. That's just silly. So basically, they're pausing it until he comes in. Yeah, and he was like, "I'll be back" or something like that, or. Mm-hmm. That's all they keep repeating. Okay. Wow. Mm-hmm. No, of course, because that's what jerks do. That's what they're doing. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't sweat it. I would say for the most part, everything exactly. Mm-hmm.
Not a thousand ticks.
Well, the problem that I was saying is that you don't want something like that to mess with your thought process in trading because that can really mess with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Um, kind of roll with it a little bit so that way you're not stressed. 'Cause things like that when I first really started trading, that would just be like, damn, that's like I'm thinking about that while I'm trading, and that just annoys me. So, are you gonna go today? Oh, okay. So everything's based on the appointment. So you're trying to catch the appointment now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know what you mean. They're trying their best to dump the market. They are really trying their best. Well, the dollar did something very interesting, and I think it's going to dump even further. They're trying to catch it here, but uh, yeah, because everybody pulled their cash from the end of the month. So the question is it going to be a follow through?
We got a point.
There's a 66% chance that we're going to have a green month in August. So I think they're trying to get the cheapest price they can find right now. So that way they finish the month of August green. And then September they're going to probably hit it again unless Fed comes in and says we're going to initiate cuts. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic in the next couple months. That's the best
We
way to
got
say it.
a point. We got a point 15 coming up.
I'm trying to wait for this 5 minute to close out of here. You said XRP looks like a what? Mm-hmm. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll probably be here up until about 10:30, 11. All right. Well, good luck. Hopefully it resolves everything, Javi. All right. And this also is British pound. I was looking for it to bounce off of this level because I had a feeling this head and shoulders will only give us the 50% of the move, and that's exactly what it did. So I think the market is readjusting for everything that's there. Um, but the dollar is dropping, so this could be more tech rotation for the most part. So this is going to be very interesting in the next couple of days or so. So I'm looking for Meta to kind of hold its 750. So that's going to be another catalyst for everything in the Qs. Let's get back over to the Qs. This is that order block that I've been saying ever since the middle of July, roughly after the 15th. I was looking at this as an area of support, and they're trying to liquidate their way all the way through. I was trying to be patient for this 5 minute, but I think we're not going to get that. They really tried to get to that 23,000, and looks like maybe they are tired at that. So let's see what happens in the next 5 minutes. Do they have a follow through here? Does it continue to drop? I don't see anything to per se trade right now. It's better safe than sorry, so let's not force anything. This is what our 15 minute will look like based on its parameters for open and range. Let's go ahead and mark this off. Here's our orb levels. As of right now, of course, the 15 minutes is not done, so we got some more work to do. Meta's really trying to fill their gap. I don't think they're going to fill the whole entire thing. I think there's a lot behind it. I was talking about AI earlier, and I think AI could be a little bit tired. Quite a bit of a run, strong run, so there could be some profit taken, especially with tickers like Microsoft. And Meta is trying to fill their earnings gap. It's the first of the month, so I don't believe this is a complete reversal. But again, the market can do whatever it likes, so I don't like to jump to conclusions. So I'm being really, really patient. We're still making lows. We're almost outside that block. See how that handles. If you're curious about this block, I think this block I built it on the daily, if my memory serves me correctly. 23K. Come on, internet, come on. Where is my data? No data. There we go. There's our data. All right, so I built this order block based on parameters that was probably somewhere set in here because I did say July 14th. Yeah, so around July 14th, we kind of did this action here, and you could kind of see when I drill in. This is a 15-minute chart. Very, very tough area with a nice little bounce that happened here. So this could have been that sweep that led to turning this order block from a bearish order block to a bullish one. And now that we're cutting through the bottom of it with this opening range, we may be getting something along the lines. Now we have major downtrends here. Like we already got the golden cross, I mean the death cross that happened in the middle of yesterday around 2 o'clock. We have not retraced back into the 50 EMA, so that's what I thought we was going to be doing before we did another drop like this. So this could be a more of a sweep as they attempt to push it down. And if this thing puts in a bullish divergence, I think we're going to go right to that 50 EMA. And that 50 EMA will probably get some trouble with the VWAP as the volume starts to shift along the way. So we'll see how this goes. Actually, sometimes I like to do this exercise. Let's do this as a weekly to see what happens here with this volume. Major volume. We broke out of that volume hard from here. So I would like to see this week gets tested, and we'll see what happens there. All right, possible retracement here for a potential push-up, because it's going to take some energy for them to be able to short the crap out of this market. So they're going to need some buy-side liquidity to grab in that regard. Let's draw some trend lines for today. So this is our peak from yesterday, happening early in the morning. And like I said, the dollar is dropping right now. So there is some catalyst to make this thing kind of rise. But again, we are going to play smart. We're not going to just like, well, the dollar is dropping, so it should just continue. No, we're not going to do any of that. That's not the type of traders we are. And this is our peak down here. And then we just made lower lows. So this is our peak right here. So I'm curious about this level here. We got 6 minutes left, or just under 6 minutes, to see what our opening range is going to be. Right now, the opening range looks bearish. That's what it really boils down to. Looking at Meta and its volume, keeping that in line. All right, so we got this 980, 985, 990. It says it's just doing this dance right here. Come on. Let's figure out what are we going to do. Might have to go into a bit of break because I don't want to panic sell here. Another thing to keep an eye out. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the news. Let's take a peek at that. Michigan sentiment is at 10 o'clock, so we're probably gonna get some dancing here as people reposition. I do see some bullish divergence on this 15-minute. You can kind of see here, but this can be pullbacks. Just oops, wrong button. This could be pullbacks just for them to continue to drop it down. But you can see that level is kind of equal here. And this is our lower point. So that divergence is happening from here to here and a rise from here to here. Same with here to here and there. So we could be just sweeping down even further just to kind of give a pop. Like I said, I do believe we got to touch that 50 EMA before we drop again. But the market can be irrational. That's why we sit back and watch. Oh, good morning, Merc. I didn't even know you was here. Thank you for tapping in. Good. Yeah, don't it seem tempting? But that order block was the real move. So it's best to just wait for the opening range to give us that extra confirmation. What you doing, Russell, today? Yeah. Please tell me you got to play some of this drop that happened when it rejected on Thursday. Okay, good, good, good. Stick to the plan. Exactly. Don't force nothing. Exactly. That's when we make the biggest losses. Yeah, let me see what the dollar is doing. Is the dollar still dropping? No, the dollar's trying to reverse, and that means British pound's probably pushing down. Yeah, it's probably a nice little reprieve. Maybe come to 50%, and then it bounces, and then that'll probably give us that move. It's funny that the market was already dropping before the British pound started doing its drop. 15 minutes starting to cross down. Let's see if they're going to try to trap bears, or we're going to get ourselves a nice little continuation and trap the bulls that thought this bullish divergence was going to go ahead and do what they thought it was going to do. Stochastic is pointing down, so this could give us a nice little momentum down. What I would like to see, if we're going to go ahead and stay bullish, it's okay for it to pull back like this. This is actually solid, but I want to see something along the lines of like a nice, almost like not a violent consolidation setup where they're trying to jab it down, they're trying to push it down, and every time they try to, it's just not giving them what they're looking for. That's probably what I would look for if I was considering more upside. Right now, I don't consider any upside um, because we made all time highs and we needed some type of pullback. Massive candle on this first 15 minutes, almost screaming out that the Bears are in control. Yeah, this candle was 165 points. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if it gives it a follow through or do they eat them right back up. Let me see if I have a major order block here. I don't think we have anything here. Here's my 45 minute. There's this wick here. Maybe that's what they're looking for, to just go ahead and liquidate that all the way back down. Um, Nothing on the 45 minute. Let me see if there's anything on the 2 hour. That 2 hour looks like a complete pure pour out. I got a doji that's very interesting here. Something like this is interesting, so might be getting to the tail end of the move. But again, this is not as strong as the ones that I like to mark off, so I'm not really holding that in itself. Let's come back to the 15 minute. Might get ourselves a 5 minute break so we can play this down. Now, I kept this downtrend line from the daily only because I felt like this was a questionable move to the upside, and I want to see, do we bounce off of the backside of it. We're under 23,000, so for those that don't want to see us under 23,000, this is probably where they would step into. Trap in those that want to play the opening range breakout on the 5 minute and 15 minute and cause some issues. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. It might build a base here. I'm being patient here. All right, we got ourselves about another 2 minutes or so. Oh, I didn't even realize. I thought I got rid of the news. Yeah, so I'm looking for Michigan sentiment. That's all I was trying to point out in this. Let me get rid of this. Actually, let's go to solo screen. That way we can kind of really look for this opening range breakout. All right, you see what I meant? Like we're probably going to trap the bulls here. That bullish divergence is about to get invalidated based on this momentum on this MACD. You can kind of see that. Unless something crazy happens right here to reverse its fortunes, this histogram is about to break some of these stop losses here for those that like bullish divergences. I would say bullish above 900, bearish below 882. Bullish above 900, bearish below 882. That's probably what I'm going to be rolling with. I do know I'm close to my line that I just drew here, saying, not drew here, but it's been here from the daily. I'm close to it. They could use that as a bounce, but I like to err on the side of caution. Could I have been in this 5 minute? Absolutely. Do I want to take the chance of being in that 5 minute? Nope, not at all. Because you just don't know what the market's going to do. They are liquidating a lot of my um, bullish trends. That's what those alerts are going off. All right, there we go. So now we got a solid close here, and we have invalidated that divergence. We're probably going to get a nice little pullback here. Thought about taking a shot there. Momentum is not my friend. Just to kind of play a little scalp retracement up to 882, but I might wait for the 882 to be the rejection. But we are bearish under this 882. I think we're going to get some follow through here, and it's going to break that backside trend line. All right, looking for potential reversal around here. Think they came in break and retest. Almost got my confirmation here for downside. That's not as clean as I would like it, so I'm going to be patient again. It was tricky on this 1 minute. I want to short it here. I do want to short it here, but I'm going to take my time, Got conflicting interest on a lot of these oscillators because it feels like they're building a base here, trying to get it back up. All right, so I'm thinking about shorting now. See if we can get a nice reversal here, or is this the start of them trying to get back up and liquidating the bears? Still no reversal. This thing might go. I don't like this. Right now, it looks like we're going to get back above that 900 again. That, ooh, boy. Part of me wants to jump in here, but that was the base. That 860, 870, that was the base to push back up. Again, Michigan sentiment is coming at 10 o'clock, so this could be just people taking their profits, knowing that Michigan sentiment is coming. I wanted to believe in this backside line. See that? Sometimes it's good to keep your trend lines on and wait for the reaction. I don't believe that this is, I think this is going to be just retracement, resetting oscillators, and we're going to push back up because that 882 was what I was looking for. Or they might just be consolidating into Michigan sentiment. We got 8 minutes until then. I'm trying to get a good scalp here. I was going to take that pop up, but I feel like some of them step back in for the 900. Looks a little bearish here. Good accumulation phases right here. So there's a bit of an order block here. Let's see if we can get a bullish reversal here based on that backside. Looks like we're not getting it. Nope. Too deep of a pullback. My stop loss would have been around that 900 and they went to 908. So they're grabbing liquidity. And if you don't know which side of liquidity you're on, you already know the answer to that. And if you don't know, now you know. Let's see if we can get a cross up here because it's looked like we built that base again, but everything's looking very bearish. But the 5-minute could be putting in a star. Taking a shot. Risking a couple of $100. And let's see if they'll give me the potential pop that I think can happen here. Oh, nope. They said, nope, we're not giving that. They jabbed me. That was for a couple of $100. They're still trying to build that. Got 29 seconds on this 5-minute. Could we put in a morning star here? Yes, but the problem with this morning star is we are failing in other aspects of this morning star. All right, let's see if we can get a little pullback here. New 5-minute. You're supposed to give me a little bit more than that. Nope. They did not let that go. That's that 882 level I was just talking to y'all about. Let's get some strong support here. Come on, let's get some strong support here. See if we can get some of that sell side liquid. Ooh, almost. Come on, let me be able to push that into profit. Come on, baby. They would not let it go. Ah. Basically, that it's that backside of that trend line. Starting to look like we're putting in a W. I'm gonna lower my leverage a little bit. See if I can catch something small. I'm gonna have to wait for oscillators to reset. Stoke is already doing what I think it was going to do, but bullish divergence is kind of out the window for the most part. So I think we're going to get lower unless they're going to try to use this area as that bullish divergence. And they came for the sweep of the most recent ones that stepped in. Very possible, but not probable, especially having the opening range doing what it's doing right now. So we're kind of in no man's land. That's why I was kind of riding to try to get to that 900. Very strong sell pressure at 900. Very strong. That's what's giving us this trouble now. Here's the 882 again. Kind of doing a very, very micro trend up that broke down. So close to Michigan sentiment. I'm going to sit on my hands a little bit. We got 28 seconds until the news comes out. Let's go ahead and switch over and see what the news has for us. All right, 8 seconds. I think the consumer confidence is going to be the opposite versus. So we was bearish for the dollar, so we might get bullish for the dollar on this one, just to kind of mix up the bag on the market. Let's see that. Where are you? Oh, bullish, bearish for the dollar. Oh my God, I was thinking bullish. Now we do have some PMI stuff that's going to mix the bags a little bit, but screaming out downside. Very interesting action here. Very interesting. Trapping those bulls that probably was anticipating for good results out of this news. We're breaking below my level. That was the level of that wick that we had saw. This one here. And this is probably going to give us our first part of potential bounces. That was a good move from 882. Didn't want to carry it over the news, but if I had some good profits already, I probably would have been in it with the news. Tough to get in right now. They really ran away from this. Yes, the opening range did break out and it was 5 minutes. And this could have been reload here, but we was wedging the action too. So it did give both bullish and bearish sentiment all at the same time. Not the easiest to trade. All right, we got a nice little order block right here at the 30. I think I might be bullish above 830 if this thing gets back, because I know we're coming off that line. Bearish below 820. $820, $830. Those are the two I'm looking at. Created a little bit. I think we might come back to 880 again, or 870 if we get above that 830. Lots of things are selling off as people lock in profits. They're trying to sweep that 800. See if they can get it. Lots of order blocks here because psychological level of 800. Potential curl up here. Let's see if they break the trend. There's a little tiny micro trend. All right, solid reversal here. All right. Oh, don't disrespect me. Okay. Woo. Made my 1K that I needed to fund this account. So that is a good to go. So now I'll switch. I think I did too much on this one. You know what sucks though? That's the best way to say it. Let me switch over to this. You know what sucks though is that when you're dealing with this market and trying to find your spots, it's like it gets on your nerves because you know, how can I say it? Like, for example, as it was building this 15 minute, you could hear how I'm having a conversation with Javier. I was like, oh my God, all I need is 1K to fund this account. I just want to jump into any one of these because I know it's going to go down. But the thing is, for buyers and sellers to exist and the brokers are doing the work, if you didn't get in at this key point over here, most of the stop losses are over here. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to get in with a market order, right? When you get in with a market order, remember the brokers are using AI at this point. They're not even putting in the orders. It's all computers. Oh, really? Did I say something that upsets you that y'all trying to mess with my trading view? Um, the brokers have to fill those orders. So how do they fill the orders? They got to go get those orders because you didn't market order. So it's basically saying, all right, now I can make this money. Now they got to go ahead and fill this contract so that way it can go back down. So if you've ever experienced an adverse reaction where it feels like your stop loss is getting hit the moment you get in with a market order, you're probably entering at the wrong spot, right? That's one. The other part of it is when you're putting these orders at these order blocks, just like this one, we was developing an order block and I was saying anything under 882, right? So that would have been somewhere around this ballpark level, right? Anything under 882, I was going to be a little bit bearish. Let me just type it in. 22, 882, right? And let's move this over a little bit, right? Anything below that level, I was bearish. So if you really think about it, from the point that I stated, this level just to this target is 180 ticks. I couldn't find a good entry that I felt comfortable to play it down to the downside, right? Which is okay. That's part of the game. But what I will say to you is this: if you were with a certain leverage that you felt like, all right, 882, I know my strategy is sound when I see this indication, and you on one micro, and you're trailing it against the order block, you could have got that whole 180 and then some because it even went lower. It got as low as 300 ticks, right? So that's almost 2 to 1 there. So this reversal is not just, and this the other part of it. I know y'all want to scream, look at that manipulation. When I was looking at the trend line on the daily, it was this level right here. That should have gave us the bounce, but they had to sweep it low. Now they didn't have to sweep it low. right? When you're on your entry time frame, those entry time frames are going to have to reset their oscillators. Look, it got to the 8. What did I say? We might get to 890. All I needed was 1K. I took my 1K, walked away. We're at 890. Boom, reverse, going back down. It's not. It's like SJ always says, good person I talk to all the time. It goes levels to levels. Don't overthink it. Don't drive yourself crazy. And this thing could reverse again. It was bearish. It is still bearish. This whole we're doing our second daily candle of nothing but pure red. So this is going to be bearish. So don't overthink it. This if I'm looking for an entry, it needs to come to this key level because this is a daily key level. Then that means I go to my entry time frame. I don't care if it's the 5 minute, 10 minute, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. It needs to show that it's going to trend in that direction. So that way everything else piles in. But if you're going to go ahead and be like, oh, this is the right level, I'm going to put a limit order and I'm going to have my stop loss all the way to Timbuktu. And then you're like, why did my account get liquidated? It's because you have no real strategy. Go ahead, click the link down below. I do one-on-ones, I do charting, I do all those things to kind of protect people from themselves. We're probably going to get another pop here. They kind of caught this. Hold on. Let me come back here. Enough advertising. So again, like I have this backside of this downward trend line. I knew it was going to be tough. I have an order block going across, right? Based on the fact that it was the bottom of a wick, it was going to be tough. I have a whole entire other set of wicks that can create an order block in that cell. So all of this action is not brand new. It's just price has history. It reverts back to its means. We probably reverted to our means to go ahead and get new highs if the momentum is enough. If it's not, guess what? It's not going to go down, go all the way for new highs. And that's what you have to be very objective driven. Stop getting in your feelings. Oh, the market's not my friend and it's doing this, that, and the third. Just follow the charts. Just follow the charts. Anyways, let me get out of here. I'm gonna leave y'all be over at YouTube. I'm gonna talk to the folks on this side, and we'll be back on again on Monday. If you want information on my mindset class, I post it on my Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. DM me for direct Zoom links. But at the end of the day, it's just the market. All right. So that said, I'll see y'all later. Don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and the bell button. And I bid you a fond farewell. Have a great day.